Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome to the winners finals match of the Mania Long Note Tournament 3rd edition. It has been a very long road for these two players, but they have made it unscathed through the bracket to be the final two players remaining in the winners bracket. It is going to be DemiFiendSMT going up against Silhoueska Elze. As always, my name is Sparky, and I am joined in the commentary booth by none other than Dynascape. Dyna, how are you doing today?
Doing great as always, Sparky. Very excited to commentate this match. And you mentioned that both players come out unscathed into the winners finals, but honestly, I mean, they did not have free tickets into the winners final. I feel like they had to really fight to get there, and we got two just amazing matches out of it last week.
Yeah, for sure. And to your point, I say unscathed in terms of being undefeated, but oh boy, if you really look at some of those matches in semifinals in particular, they could have gone either way. Silhoueska Elze making it here off the back of a tiebreaker win against Miku Aimbot, and DemiFiend able to take a very close matchup against Grip Warrior to make it here. So definitely proving their worth against some of the best LN players in this tournament to be able to make it against each other here in the winners finals.
Yep, we are in the middle of the first warm-up. Not sure whose this is, but you know, both players getting their fingers quite warm. I know Emily was streaming a little bit before this match, so did want to see that. Go check out her pub.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is somewhat under the level of difficulty of this map pool. This is going to be a really good way just to get the fingers going. Demi having to deal with summer in Brazil, so probably not going to be as cold as some of our competitors in the Northern Hemisphere. And Silhoueska also, by virtue of being in the Philippines, does not have to deal with weather.
Very true.
So this will be a pretty even matchup. Nobody's going to be freezing, hopefully. I know sometimes nerves make the fingers feel a little colder than usual, but hopefully these two are at their peak. The time discrepancy between these two countries pretty large, so hopefully this is pretty good compromise for both of them, so that nobody's feeling like they're having to play at a suboptimal level.
Yeah, it is always very hard to schedule when the time zones are so far apart, especially when it's essentially South America versus in Asia players. So we are going to get into the second warm-up. I think the first one was Demi's, so this would be Emily's.
Judging by the reaction from Demi, yeah, this is going to be Emily's warm-up. Something a little bit shorter here, maybe something a little bit more physically demanding, just judging by the star rating. Maybe a little bit inflated. But sometimes when you get to these later map pools in this tournament in particular, you do have to be able to handle some of those rougher, maybe star rating inflating patterns. So this will also be a pretty decent warm-up to gauge where both these players are.
Yeah, and as we get into the second warm-up, I did want to kind of talk about what you were thinking for each of these players and their skill sets. What do you think both of them would like to ban, protect, or pick before we get into those?
Well, that's a very good question. I know Demi is pretty much taken a claim to being one of the best accuracy LN players in this tournament. They've put up some monstrous scores across all categories in the map pool. I feel like their comfort picks will probably be residing in the coordination and technical picks, just trying to stay away from the raw density, because I feel like that starts to bring Silhoueska Elze's just raw physicality back into play here. Anybody that has kept tabs on Emily knows that she is basically renowned for playing these like monstrous full LN converts that are just like ridiculous to play on a normal level and just breezing through them with S ranks all over the place. So I feel like Emily is going to reside with the density wildcard picks, while Demi tries to reside in the coordination tech picks.
Yeah, and I feel like some of the tech picks might be a little scary as well, as you mentioned. I did look at some of them, and I mean, some of them I feel really do push physicality also. So I think that some of them might be traps for Demi. And one map I was looking at was Gamma Stop giving me hardbags in Coordination 3. That one seems extremely physical as well. So again, maybe another trap for Demi. I do like what you were saying about Emily going for those wildcard picks and density ones. They just seem to be so quick and so fast and test a lot of physicality for a long period of time. So totally agree with your analysis.
Yeah, and I say that with a grain of salt because I have been known to put out all these expectations and then the players hear it in the background and they're just like, you know what? Nah, I'm just gonna make them look dumb. Like they don't know what they're talking about. It's just completely 180. Next thing you know, we're gonna see Demi protect a density pick and Emily protect a coordination pick and then ban each other's stuff out. And the next thing you know, we have breakpoints all over the place. Who knows?
Yeah, we've already had a couple cases of players listening to the stream as they play, so wouldn't put it past them to do the same here.
Yeah, for sure. But with that being said, that will do it for both of the warm-ups here. We're going to go ahead and get into the roles to see who will be protecting first and picking first. This is very exciting. If you are just joining us, this is the winners finals. It is going to be a bit of a longer match. First player to 7 points, best of 13 format will be moving on to winners grand finals and securing themselves at least second place at worst.
Oh boy, and even the roles are close.
Yeah, and these players know what they want. Demi winning the roll 66-54, immediately opting to go second, not even letting our referee ask what they want to do. Demi wants to see what Emily has in store for them, wanted to see what that protect is going to be from her so that they can respond in kind. Who knows, maybe they have the same protect lined up and they just want to scope out that information.
Yeah, I think even in Emily's last match, Emily had picked Miku aimbot's protect first, and that didn't work out for her. Oh, jeez. Okay, yeah. Emily protects Gamma, makes sense.
Coordination, of course, like I said, and then Demi protecting density, of course, like I said. Oh man, I love throwing out these predictions, and then the players just completely circumventing that. So it is going to be Gamma Stop giving me hardbags and Grief and Malice going to be protected in this pool. Now the bans are really going to start giving us some information as to what might be the pain points for both of these players going into this match.
Yeah, and I actually really like both of the protects though, because I mean, Coordination 3 is just so physical. We even saw Grip Warrior struggle with it in his match against, I believe, who was it? Miku aimbot? Or Pavin, yeah. And honestly, Grief and Malice, there's no tricks thrown at you. So, I mean, if you're Demi and you're able to handle it, then there's nothing really stopping you from dropping or anything like that. We are going to see Acquaintance banned from Emily.
And then Black Princess going to be removed as well.
Is that
That's wildcard 5.
Okay, cool.
Trying to see.
I would like,
oh,
the pause was like
yes, when the title name and the difficulty name are incredibly long, when the players just go with a name that's not specifically on there, it does get a little hard to keep track of. So let's see here.
Looks like we got the order wrong, but yeah, Emily is gonna pick first.
Ah, okay, yes. So making sure we have everything starting off on the right foot here. So Emily is going to pick first in this matchup. And really taking their time to get everything through. And it is going to be Polyrhythm coming out here. So Tech 4, interesting pick here. Going to ban out a tech pick and then pick a tech pick to start this match off.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Not the first time we've seen it from Emily though. Again, in her last match, she had banned a wild card and then immediately picked the wild card as the first pick. So, I mean, a bit unorthodox, but if it works, it works.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe just one of the maps that maybe she was having the lowest scores on compared to the rest of the map pool. But it looks like both players are ready. We are going to get into this first map of this best of 13. It is going to be Polyrhythm, the Izadi House flip. Oh boy, I don't know about you, Dinah, but I am on the edge of my seat already. We haven't even played a note yet.
Yeah, I almost fell off, Sparky. I'm not gonna lie.
Alright, good luck to both the players. Show your support to your favorite player, whom you want to see in that Winners Grand Finals. Not the most consequential loss of all time, but you definitely want to have that buffer of having the bracket reset protection. As we make our way through, Demi finding the first drop in this match. Those bursts, very awkward to hit through, and they probably try to double stop their way instead of grace note their way through. And that's going to hand Emily an early lead here into the second quarter of the map. All these awkward releases, so many starts and stops.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna miss Demi, best place to do it is at the start before you even hit the combo cap. I do like this pick from Elze. It's still polyrhythm, right? So you still have those polyrhythmic structures in between what I like to call the trap beat. So, I mean, there's a lot to deal with, and it does feel super, super awkward, especially in a tournament setting with those nerves. Oh man. So I do like it, and it seems like it has paid off for Emily so far in this first half.
Yeah, she is ahead by about a tenth and a half. Has that slider break to boot over DemiFiend, gonna make a difference of about 6,000 points. Not insurmountable by any stretch of the imagination, but when the stakes are this high, your opponent does not give you much of an opportunity in to try and make the recovery. So trying to keep the mistakes to an absolute minimum as we make our way through this build-up section into the last drop. Last quarter of the map still upcoming. Emily still holding on to the FC. DemiFiend doing great to recover from that early drop. 99.6% for them. Closing up that accuracy deficit. It is starting to shrink a little bit here, but so long as Emily holds on here, gonna be able to keep DemiFiend at bay for the moment unless she finds a massive accuracy drop, and it is starting to drop every so often. Rushes to 300s coming from Emily here.
Oh yeah, the accuracies are getting super, super close, and especially with the addition of the shields in this back half as the map closes out, we do see a bit of the start of a comeback from Demi. However, Emily will take it with an FC.
Oh, what a run. 5 200s in that entire song. To take the first point here and make it 0-1. An unfortunate miss from Demi. They did have the ratio. If they had managed to hold on for the FC, this would have been so much closer at the very end.
Oh yeah. Oh man, it would have been so, so close without those misses. Especially when you have better MA but more 200s. It's always hard to calculate, but I really feel like that'd be super close for both players.
For sure. And Demi wasting 0 time, gonna opt to dive down into the wildcard section. It's gonna be end of a dream here to kick off their match. So now as it stands, Emily currently up 1-0. not much to write home about. It is going to be a long match. It is not a sprint. This is a marathon, and you need to have the mental fortitude to be able to withstand your opponent's picks as well. So this will help set the tone of the match just a little bit, see if Demi can respond or if Emily can take the first break point in this match.
Yeah, I love what you said about setting the tone, because as with a wild card pick, I mean, if you win this one, you are feeling pretty good about the other 4 in the pool, right? And that this is the biggest skill set in terms of number of maps in the pool, so this is a very, very big map for both of these players.
Yeah, but if Demi's picking something like this, that means that they are intimately comfortable with the stylings of this map. These little shield patterns at the very beginning, not giving either player too much issue. That being said, Demi does find the first real big accuracy drop between the two of them, but it is not by much, but it does give Emily a slight lead going out of this first quarter of the map. It is about 0.1% once again between these two players. There is not a lot separating them at the moment.
Yeah, a couple late 200s from Demi at the start. Emily hasn't traded it back yet, but that remains to be seen as we get into this small break section.
Yeah, second, third of the map upcoming, things calm down before picking right back up where they left off, and we are now virtually tied. Demi able to make up that accuracy deficit that they found early on in the map, but that being said, they do find another couple of rushes of 300s, and that's really just the margin between these two players. Singular 200s are going to make all the difference when these two are as tightly matched as they are, and they are still tied going into the back half of the map.
Yeah, that bar is finally flicking a bit over to Demi's side, something we haven't seen pretty much this whole match. Last third of the map, and Demi is holding just the slightest of leads. The margin of error is so small.
Yeah, it is 0.03% separating these two players. Emily making up that deficit ever so slightly, but Demi is seeming to climb, but oh, they find the TV rush! Oh no, that is the end of a perfectly good run from DemiFiend here, last quarter of the map, and that drop was significant. There isn't column locking anymore with Score V2 LNs, but you can CB rush and lose entire patterns like that, especially when maps are this dense, and it is now Emily's to lose going into the last sliver of the map, and so far she has been the epitome of consistency.
Wow, Demi, just one small misread from them spells death on this map. Just really goes to show how hard it is to keep up with these final map pools of the tournament.
Yeah, for sure. All 50s. Yeah, that definitely speaks to a bit of a misread and just rushing some of those patterns. But Silhoueska, Elze, 3 200s on a map like that, 450. Sure, Demi is going to have the accuracy and ratio, but those 200 counts are really gonna start to be significant if Demi can start putting together some of these clean runs.
Yeah, wow. Emily with the 993, that is insane. That is such a good score on that map. Makes you wonder what Demi would have had without the big CB rush. Even though they had 10 greats, that 10-1 MA is kind of insane.
That's very scary. Like I said, if they're able to put a run together, it's going to be very hard for Emily to keep up. He was starting to claw back that accuracy going into the back half of the map and even took the lead for a couple of moments. It's just in the blink of an eye, things can just collapse with how volatile these picks are, how dense they are to read through. And with how good your opponents are at this level, they will take that and run with it all the way to the bank. So Silhoueska L is up 2-0 now, banking that first breakpoint and the opportunity to double up here to make it 3-0 on their next pick. And it is going to be Nostalgic Blood of the Strife coming out here.
Very nice pick by Emily. This is a collab with Logan and Felix Fade, custom charted for this pool, and very cool as well. This is, again, another short map. I know that the coordination picks are all pretty long, especially Gamma stopped giving me hard bags at 4.5 minutes. So both players so far have been picking the shorter end of the maps as we get into it.
Yeah, I feel like the longer form coordination maps are going to start to come in towards the end of this match once both players have settled into a better groove. The last thing you want is to be shaky on a map that long because it definitely does start to play on your overall MA. But as we get this map underway, once again, these two virtually deadlocked out of the introduction, able to handle these introductory bursts with relative ease, but both of them trading slider breaks at the exact same moment. They basically broke on the same note here, but DemiFiend comes away ahead with less damage overall going into the second third of the map.
Yeah, Emily took way more damage on that synchronized break from the two of them. So a bit of a catch-up to do as we get into the back half of the map. And Demi actually finds a break as well. That's going to swing things over to Emily.
Yeah, I feel like that warm-up that Emily threw out here was a bit of a foreshadowing. We saw Demi starting to break on the more dense sections, and as this map starts to pick up, Demi messing once again, and that's going to help cushion this lead that Emily has built up, having the accuracy and score lead at the moment, and growing as DemiFiend tries to make their way back up with that 400 combo cap, but Emily recovering beautifully so far. Last quarter of the map to go. Does find a bit of an accuracy drop, but Demi finds another slider break, and it is going from bad to worse for them as Emily looks to try and capitalize on that break point that they took from Demi to make it 3-0. As it stands, it is going to take a monumental collapse as Demi finds another slider break for Emily to hand this back over.
Blow after blow after blow for Demi. Just cannot find their footing on this map. That's a total of 5. Make it 6 breaks at the end just to make things worse. Emily finally trades one back, but that's not going to be enough. I mean, both players looking super, super uncomfortable on this map. Wow.
Yeah, I think we're starting to find the upper limits of the players that we have left in this tournament. We've seen some big breaks on different maps in this pool so far, and I feel like this one might have been that tipping point for both of these players. So maybe tread with caution as we get into the deeper parts of the lower half of this map pool. But I think if you're Silhoueska Elze, you see that score from Demi and you're pretty comfortable knowing that you might have a physicality edge over Demi right now.
Yeah, if I were Emily, I'd feel fine picking my Protect with Gamma next. However, Demi is going to go ahead and pick So Grand. That's a really good one. Demi might have to start picking on the density side and go for his Protect next as well.
Yeah, definitely. As we reach our mid-game here, might need to start being put into consideration. But with that being said, it is going to be So Grand coming out here. DemiFiend's second pick in this match. Silhoueska Elze taking that first break point, see if she can continue that trend or if Demi can notch their first point on the board.
Testing the waters here because I feel like So Grand is super, super similar to Grief and Malice, which was Demi's Protect. So this is a good litmus test to see how things would turn out with his Protect. As it stands, Demi is super comfortable in this intro as they get to the combo cap. Already at a 99.93, slightly ahead of Emily in this section here.
Yeah, players like this with patterns, to them probably very simple, just destroy stuff like this on a daily basis. Demi still holding strong in that 99.9 range. Silhoueska Elze not too far behind, 99.8 for themselves, just a 10th behind, and it's really going to come down to Demi's consistency issues that they've had so far this match. See if they can hold on, keep that combo going, and put together a performance that we know that they're capable of here as we make our way into the second third of the map.
Oh, and the build-up is really, really scary for both players, but handle it super well as we get into the second half. Emily still has a bit of work to do. Demi just seems so, so confident on this pick. No trouble whatsoever.
Yeah, Demi, this is a very hard, complicated map. They're treating this as if though it's just regular jump stream. They do finally fall off their 99.9% purge, but they're still keeping that 1/10 lead over Silhoueska Elze as we make our way into the last quarter of the map. These are two really good runs. Demi finding a couple of 200s in the transition as things start to lighten up just a little bit here, but still able to keep themselves ahead for the moment. This lead is so fragile despite the fact that we're approaching the last eighth of the map.
Yeah, Emily trades those 200s back immediately. So still a bit of work to be done for Emily in this final section. Demi's gonna need to accuracy drop or even drop a whole note here.
Oh, there's a couple 200s coming out from Demi here. Things are starting to get a little bit shaky. They're starting to hit a little bit late here on this UR bar. It's the last sliver of map left to go, but they still have the cushion. Last couple of bursts. It's not going to happen, and DemiFiend does notch their first point on the board. 992 to 990.
Oh wow, and look at that yet again. Better MA, more 200s. Just a common theme for this match.
Yeah, and like we were saying, as soon as Demi puts that run together, avoids the mistakes, avoids the drops, that accuracy that they have in this match, pulling them through and able to get them on the board now. It is 3-1, Emily to pick next.
And so Emily's gonna search in this map pool to find yet another map to test Demi's physicality and wear him down little by little. You're gonna have to see what she wants to pick.
Alright, it is going to be Density 1, Grief and Malice. So Emily going to go for Demi's Protect here.
That is very interesting, very scary. Yeah, again, Emily picking her opponent's Protect. I don't know how this is gonna turn out, Sparky. I don't doubt a Demi Protect, right?
Demi didn't play this.
Oh.
Oh dear lord. Oh, the sight read moments. You love to see it. This is a power play on both ends. Emily picking Demi's Protect. Demi going to sight read their way through this to see.
And Emily sight reading this as well.
Oh no. Oh my god, this is the fact that they're sight reading this pool and getting the scores that they are is ridiculous. Looks like Demi was able to clear up their issues with their hand. They were saying that they described it as rainbows. I don't know exactly what that means. Probably just needed to stretch it. But with that being said, we are going to get into this fifth map of this best of 13. Silhoueska Elze still ahead 3-1 on their next pick. It is going to be Demi's Protect, Grief and Malice coming out here.
Like I said, I feel like this map is very, very similar to Density 2. So grand. So I feel like Demi would have the edge on this. I'm pretty surprised Emily would pick this. Gonna have to see what happens.
Maybe they're counting for a bit of a misread later on down the line on this map. As it stands, Demi holding the accuracy lead as we have seen throughout this match. It really just has been those couple of slip-ups that have been their undoing, and as we make our way into the second quarter of the map, it is still 1/10% the lead for DemiFiend at the moment. A couple thousand points separating these two players as they start to settle in here.
Yeah, exactly like the last pick, Demi has been holding a decent lead in terms of accuracy when they're able to full combo. So again, we see a 0.1% lead over Elze. However, this was only the first third of the map. There's still a lot more to go.
Yeah, and as we make our way into the back half of the map, we see the lead start to shrink just a little bit here. Demi finding a couple of 300s, I think a couple of 200s as well. Oh, and Demi finds the first break on the first major burst of the map, and that is going to hand the lead back over to Silhoueska Elze, but not by much. This accuracy lead is still very close. Demi's drop, but that second one is going to do the damage here. A full 10th behind now as Emily starts to run away with it.
Yeah, the abrasiveness of that burst with that scream is what I think a lot of people in the chat, as well as I, was looking for. As Demi takes yet another break, it's just super hard to catch up when you're down by so much. Yet another one again.
Yeah, I think they're starting to reach that point of uncomfortableness, especially on a start read. You don't know which of these notes is going to be longer than others, and they are really starting to chop some of these releases as we make our way into the last quarter of the map. The damage has been done. Emily has such a massive cushion to work with, and they're still holding on to the FC here. And I mean, knowing her, she probably thinks she's behind right now. Just seeing that accuracy that she has, that 9.65, she knows she doesn't have any wiggle room to play with. But when she sees that score result, she'll know that that gamble has paid off. Picking Demi's Protect and able to overperform on it. DemiFiend, the unfortunate beneficiary of a couple of drops throughout that middle section as they start to recover here, but it is not going to be enough, and Silhoueska Elze makes it 4-1 now.
Huge breakpoint for Emily. Only 3 more needed to take this match, and the Protect is still intact is the big thing. Demi's Protect out of the window. Gonna need to find another point somewhere else. Emily still has that comfort pick in Coordination 3.
Yeah, for sure. And Demi asking for a bit of a small break. The players do have a tactical timeout that they can use if they do feel the need to. I know these maps are very physically demanding. The last thing we want is players injuring themselves, hitting their keyboard too much. Emily reporting that there was something shaking while they were playing that map. I know the Philippines has been subject to a couple of pretty nasty earthquakes in the last couple of months. Hopefully everything is okay over there. The last thing we want is something like that to ruin a perfectly good match like this.
Definitely. Both players are going to need to rest up in between these maps as much as possible because, as you can see, it is super physically taxing for both of them.
Yeah, so Demi apparently is back and gonna need to throw out a pick here. A referee joking around with Demi, asking if here is a pick. Unfortunately not the case. They are gonna have to provide a map, and there's a pretty decent spread of maps. We haven't seen any of the coordination picks come out. Have seen something from everywhere else. And it's gonna be our first coordination pick coming out. Yoru ni Kakeru gonna come out. Bit of a banger in this pool, if I do say so myself.
Oh yeah, this one is really good, but it's also really long. I think it's reaching that 4-minute mark, I believe. So in terms of stamina, it's gonna drain them a lot. Yeah, 3 minutes 56.
Yeah, but it's a good song, so it'll breeze by for these two, especially if they enjoy the song. It just blows by in an instant. But with that being said, it looks like the players are ready. The stretches are out. Emily thinking this was on 1.25. Yeah, that might have been for her practice. But yeah, no. It is going to be on 1.1 here. Clocking in, like you said, just under 4 minutes. These coordination picks definitely some of the longer form maps in this pool. See if they can maintain the consistency and the coordination required to challenge a map like this. I imagine this is going to be one of our closest maps. This is where DemiFiend's accuracy is really going to shine, I would imagine.
Oh, most definitely, and we already see it here in this opening section. A 0.2% lead for Demi. Pretty good. We're gonna have to see what happens in the rest of the map because, especially in the chorus, it does jump up in difficulty quite a bit.
Yeah, and the real challenge out of this introduction is just handling those little shields here and there. They really start to wear away at you, especially if you're not used to making constant mini jack motions with the LNs interspersed between. And right now we are starting to see the players start to settle in. Demi finding the first break. As I said, those mini jacks do start to get abrasive after a while as we transition into the next verse, into the second quarter of the map that is going to hand Emily a bit of a lead here to work with.
Yeah, here we go in the chorus. You might have to see Emily trade it back for any hope on this map. However, honestly, if things go well for the rest of the map, I could totally see Demi overtaking in accuracy and Emily dropping a little bit, and then the scores get a little bit closer and closer. So Demi could totally take this without a traded drop, honestly.
Yeah, for sure, but it looks like Demi is the one taking more damage out of the chorus section. As we make our way into the second third of the map, that lead has expanded just a little bit. Demi falling just under that 99.7 mark for the moment. Silhoueska Elze as well starting to take a little bit of damage as things start to get a little bit denser read-through. Still in the realm of comfort, but when the nerves start playing a bit of a factor, we are about 2 minutes into this map. Normally they'd be finishing out one of the other picks, but there's still over half the map to go here.
Yeah, and here we go with more of those mini jacks, just like in the first section. I do think they're a bit more abrasive than the first part, so Demi, it looks pretty scary, but holds through a 200, so a bit of an axe drop. However, Emily did take one as well.
Yeah, they're now virtually tied in terms of accuracy. The only thing buoying Silhoueska Elze's lead for the moment is that singular drop that Demi found in that first quarter of the map. As we make our way into the last third, it is still relatively more the same. The accuracies are tied. Now it starts to get a little bit dangerous if you are Silhoueska Elze. If DemiFiend starts pulling away in terms of accuracy discrepancy, we have seen this before on the coordination picks where we've seen a player find an early miss and then just win on raw accuracy alone. That is the danger with these longer maps. It does give you that opportunity if you drop early enough to make up the accuracy deficit. So it is all eyes on Silhoueska Elze as we make our way into the last quarter of this map to maintain this accuracy that they've managed to hold on to without letting DemiFiend get too far ahead here.
Oh yeah, it is getting increasingly more scary for Emily as I see that accuracy go down a little bit.
No!
But Demi, huge drop in the last chorus.
Oh, that is not what you wanted to see. They were so close. The ball rolls back down the mountain and DemiFiend has to start all over again, back at that 400 combo cap, but it is not going to be enough this time. That one really did some damage, especially with the fact that Silhoueska Elze is still holding on to this FC here. 99.6, 99.62. You can throw the accuracy out the window. These consistency from Emily has been pulling her through, capitalizing on these mistakes that DemiFiend has been finding, and it is the tiniest of margins between these two as Emily takes her 5th point here, making it 5-1.
Such a consistent player, Emily. I mean, what an amazing score, right? Even at a 987, just so consistent is really the key here. 2 broken sections by Demi, one in the first mini jack section and the second in the last course. I mean, it was getting so close, right? But just pulls through at the end. Emily, great performance.
Yeah, for sure. It's the tightest of margins. You walk that tiny little tightrope your way through that entire map, knowing that any singular drop could basically spell the end of your run. Especially considering the ratios that DemiFiend has been putting up. But as we've been saying throughout this match, it has been those tiny drops that they have found that have made all the difference so far. And that's why Silhoueska Elze has the lead that they have right now. We're going to go for Emily's Protect now. Gamma, stop giving me hard bags. And Demi's not too happy about that pick.
I don't blame Demi at all, because this map is a map. It's very hard. If you guys are familiar with Mifa/Lemon Guy's set of Gamma Stop sending me Ratchet and Clank videos to sample, it's kind of like that, but in LN form. Very techy, very abrasive. If someone FCs this, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Boy, we've seen some gnarly scores on this map already this weekend. Cannot begin to imagine what these two are gonna put up here.
Yeah, hopefully chat can help me out with the samples in the later half, because honestly, I only know Bad Apple and Wonderwall. After everything else, it just becomes like a garbled mess.
Already we start to see some of these abrasive patterns. Those mini jacks really do start to get a little bit intrusive through this introduction. We see both players with the lowest starting accuracy we've seen throughout this match. Demi finding the first drop once again, but it is very early on in this map, so they're definitely not out of the woods if you are Emily just yet, but you do have a bit of a cushion to work with as you hit that 400 combo cap first.
And I hope this isn't, I hope this is the last of the misses that we'll see for this map, because again, it is just so difficult. And honestly, this isn't even in like the top 5 hardest parts of this map. You're gonna see a lot of it when those samples start to clash and we see a lot of things going on musically.
Yeah, a bit of an inverse section before we start to dive back in. Things are a little bit fairer here. I feel like it's just the bursts in between this section that really start to wear away at you ever so slightly, and Demi has picked up the pace here, starting to build back up their accuracy after that first drop. It does take about 2 to 3/10% to make up 4 drops, and it looks like they're about to clear that barrier to start making some inroads in this lead. 99.6, but that's a 200, and that's going to make matters a little bit worse here. They're now tied in accuracy. Emily able to survive going into the second third of the map relatively unscathed here.
Yeah, both players hanging on for dear life on this map. They have gotten past Bad Apple. That was a really good sample of the physicality in this map. Soon we're going to head into Wonderwall, and that's going to be a lot, as you can tell, I mean, a lot of LN walls.
Yeah, and a lot of one-hand, two-handed trills in between the transitions, but both players being as good as they are, able to handle them with relative ease, and we see that accuracy gap start to build up once again. DemiFiend rolling that ball up the hill, 99.66 and climbing. Silhoueska about to hit that 99.6 mark, but if DemiFiend can really start to pull away, or if Emily starts finding any more accuracy drops, this is the road that DemiFiend has opted to take, and this is a tiny sliver of a lead going into the back half of the map.
Yep, and we're gonna see kind of a redux of the Yornikakaru pick where Demi— oh no, but here it comes as I was saying it. Demi was mounting the comeback, but misses yet again, back to square one.
Time to go to church. Last third of the map upcoming. And DemiFiend once again with it all to do. That was the loudest slider break of this map so far. Puts them back in the hole in terms of accuracy and score. They were chipping away ever so slowly. It is so hard trying to make inroads against somebody that is still holding on to their FC. Sure, they might not have like the 99.7s, 99.8s, but Emily has been getting the work done, and on that mini jack transition into the last quarter of the map, DemiFiend finds another break, and that is going to help balloon this lead for Silhoueska Elze for the moment.
Please don't tell me Emily is gonna FC this pick. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
You can do what our last set of commentators did and literally just quit on the spot.
Yeah, the thing is, we still have at least one more map to go if I did that.
So true. And as we get that evil little break thrown in to this last eighth of the map, the players do know what the scores are, and you start to wonder if that plays on the nerves just a little bit. If I were them, I wouldn't even look at that score. I would just assume I am winning and do the best that I can. Demi closing up that accuracy discrepancy again, but those misses are really what's doing the damage here. Emily doing their absolute best to still hold on to this FC. 7,500 notes in, last couple of jacks to read through, both of them handling it very well, and as this map starts to come to an end, last roll, everybody hits it, and Emily is going to walk away from this map with an FC. Oh my goodness. What a performance from both of these players, and Emily is going to move up to match point 6-1 now.
I'm so speechless with that score by Emily. How do you do it? And especially after that break in the last section where you get to see your score and how you're doing. I mean, you've got to be the most nervous person in the world at that moment for Emily, right?
I mean, she has been in this position before where she knows she needs to close it out. The amount of pressure she puts on herself to perform, she knows she cannot afford to give Demi any inroads into this match. But with Demi's next pick, they are at least going to be able to pick a map that they can perform on as they take a little bit of a break here. Maybe just take a second to stretch their hands out once again and really weigh up their options. The coordination picks haven't gone their way. I think the only map they won was So Grand, so maybe the density picks can start to come back out here, but there aren't a lot of picks that they can go for that doesn't give Emily some sort of way in to capitalize.
Yeah, I think that the good thing about it is, for Demi at least, is that I believe the most physical maps are out of the pool at this point. I am still looking at something like Cathedral when I think of physical, but I mean, Demi might have an easier time on the rest of the maps on this pool. So I would like to see probably a density pick from Demi. Yeah. We are gonna see coordination 1 though.
Ooh, so endgame is gonna come out here, and it's funny, in the match between Pavin and Nep, this was the last map in the similar situation, a 6-1 in favor of Nep, and they picked this, and the commentators were saying that they would be very surprised that they saw, or they wouldn't be surprised that they saw a V1SS, and sure enough, on command, Nep pulls out a V1SS to close out the match. So this map definitely does lend itself to maybe a very ridiculous score. It remains to be seen. This is DemiFiend's potential last stand. They need to win this and take a number of breakpoints away from Silhoueska Elze to force a tiebreaker at the very least.
Yeah, you said it. This map is truly an endgame map, right? Possibly the last and final pick for this match here. But I mean, if anyone can do it, it's Demi, right? I totally believe in the comeback.
Yeah, for sure. The hardest point in the situation, if you are ahead, is that final point. It is going to be up to Silhoueska Elze to maintain their nerve, maintain this consistency that they've had over Demi in the face of this monstrous accuracy that they possess, and be able to pull through here. Not the end of the world if Demi does win this. Emily does have a couple of picks to bank in reserve to go through, but definitely don't want to hand over any semblance of momentum to Demi if at all possible. And as we make our way through the first quarter of the map, these two are virtually tied.
Oh yeah, it is getting dangerously close. Emily with the slight lead, only by 0.02% as we get into this first verse.
Yeah, we're playing tug of war with the leaderboard as the density starts to ramp up just a little bit. These really short LNs do really start to become a bit of a problem, especially if you start rushing ever so slightly. And we start to see both players taking a little bit of damage. Emily pulling ahead in the trades here, 400%, but I dare not call it a lead because it could change in an instant as we see Demi find another slider break going into this bit more of an inverse bursty section, and that is going to be what Emily needs to build up that bit of a cushion. She does have the accuracy advantage. Now she has the score lead. She just needs to maintain the consistency.
Yeah, transitioning into those awkward stagger releases proved to be fatal for Demi. We're gonna get right back into the thick of things, but so much work to be done.
Yeah, for sure. And those couple of 200s that were dropped from Demi aren't going to make matters any easier. They're falling from their perch. They're down into the 99.5 range. They're starting to hit all over the place. Some of these patterns get very uncomfortable, especially if you are seeing them for the first time. And as it stands, Silhoueska Elze still above that 99.7 mark, still holding on to the FC here, still holding on to the lead as well as we make our way into the last third of the map.
Yeah, there's not a lot left for Demi to find an opening with There's just constant 1/4 inverse gaps on this map, and it proved to be kind of hard for Demi, especially with everything else surrounding it. Emily looking to 990 it with an FC.
So far so good if you are Emily. Definitely cannot afford to blink this late on into the map. Last quarter still to go. She is still holding on to the FC, and Demi finds another CB rush, and that is going to spell what could possibly be the end of this match. There is very little room for them to operate with. The window of opportunity has effectively shut on them to try and make some inroads in this match. Last sliver of map to go. 99.5 to the 99.7 of Emily. The FC still towers strong as she starts to pull away here.
Again, truly an endgame map. Emily closing it out with possibly yet another FC. We've talked about this again and again through the match. The consistency is just there for Emily, and that's what gave her all these points over Demi.
Oh my goodness, what a ridiculous run from both of these players. A 990 and a 980, very good scores. It was just those misses that were the undoing for Demi on the day. But as it stands, your winner and your winner's bracket grand finalist, guaranteeing herself a top 2 finish in the Mania Long No Tournament 3rd edition, is going to be Silhoueska Elze, taking it 7-1 over DemiFiend, knocking them into that lower bracket.
Yeah, the Bastion of Brazil has fallen and is placed into the loser's bracket. Demi is gonna have to face the winner of Grip Warrior and Grill Roasted.
Oh boy, that is going to be an electrifying match next weekend. Or actually, no, this is actually upcoming in about
an hour.
About an hour. We are going to decide who our podium finishers are going to be. It is going to be Grill Roasted going up against Nepogen, also known as Grip Warrior, to determine who will be facing off against DemiFiend next weekend, to see who has the opportunity to go up against the current best long note player in this tournament in Silhoueska Elze. You do not want to miss it.
Yeah, that's gonna wrap up this match for us. GG and WP to both players. Congratulations to Emily for making it to the Winners Grand Finals. And we'll see you in about an hour for our next match.
Good